When Mom and I took our first cross-country road trip in 2021, I'd actually never been to Nebraska before. So when we pulled into the little town of Cozad, I really wasn't sure what to expect. But oh my gosh, what this little town lacks in size, it more than makes up for in art, history, community, and especially quilting. Of all our travels, I think the town of Cozad, Nebraska has one of my favorite histories because the town was originally founded by John J. Cozad, who was the father of the world famous artist Robert Henry, who was actually Robert Henry Cozad. But the town's history doesn't even start there. It actually goes all the way back to Abraham Lincoln and the Union Pacific Railroad.
When the Union Pacific Railroad began its push west, President Lincoln put his finger on the map at the 100th meridian marker and dared the railroaders to lay tracks to that point. Unfortunately, President Lincoln did not survive to see its completion on October 5, 1866. However, to celebrate this momentous achievement, a procession of 250 dignitaries from all over rode the first passenger train from Wall Street to the 100th meridian for an official ceremony. Included on that ride were congressmen, territory officials, financiers, Rutherford B. Hayes, who would one day become president, and even President Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln. Also included was the very train car that 1 year earlier had carried President Lincoln's body from Washington to Illinois.
In 1872, John Cozad was actually on a train trip headed west out of Ohio when he passed through this area and saw this huge sign for the 100th meridian. Well, he was so impressed with the sign in the area, he decided when he got back to Ohio, he packed up his family, some of his friends, came back out here to Nebraska and set up a town. Today, the town of Cozad is filled with museums and tons of hidden treasures, things like giant painter's palettes and beautifully painted angel wings hidden on walls all over the town, and it's home to the 50-state barn quilt wall. Now, I've actually lost count as to exactly how many barn quilts there are in this little town of Cozad, Nebraska, but I'm sure you could guess where there's barn quilts, there's a quilt shop. Let's go check out Prairie Point Junction.
Hi, I'm Julie Geiger from Prairie Point Junction Quilt Shop in Cozad, Nebraska, and welcome to our store today. We're going to give you a little tour. As you walk in the door, we love fun, cheery, vintage modern kind of looking fabrics. So we've got a lot of fun displays to inspire you. This quilt right here is from the Bloom and Bunch by the Brady Bunch. So if we've got any kids from the 70s and 80s there, you'll definitely remember Marsha Brady, that this is designed by Marsha Brady of the Brady Bunch fame. So we've had a lot of fun with her quilts there. We're really known for our kits. Pretty much if you see a sample done up in our store, we will have a kit for you. We like to make it easy. We're located literally just minutes off of Interstate 80 in central Nebraska. So we get a lot of people popping in here on their way through. Maybe they're headed to Colorado or Iowa or beyond. So a lot of times, as you know, traveling quilters don't necessarily have a ton of time to maybe stop at particular locations and go to all the excessive time to pick out all the fabrics that go in a particular project. So we do the kits to make it easy. So if you're traveling, see something you like, you can pick up a kit and be back on the road and on your way. We do a ton of fat quarter bundles and fat quarters of all the fabrics that we carry. We love Lori Holt, Farm Girl Vintage. This quilt here is from her Farm Girl Vintage 2 book. And we had a little fun just kind of customizing the layout with that a little bit to change up the design somewhat. But all those blocks that you see are from Farm Girl Vintage 2. And we have a ton of Lori Holt fabrics out there. We know there's a lot of Lori Holt fans around the country, so we keep a good stock of that. Another one of our designers that we just love is Kathy Holden. She's just started doing, I think this is her third line from Moda. This one's called Flea Market Fresh, and she's got a lot of the fun collage look that I think is really different than a lot of things you see on the market right now. So we are so excited to have her fabrics there. We'll come around this way, if you will. And once again, kits for most everything you see. We are super easy to get along with here, so we try to make your life easy when you stop. We want you to be able to come and enjoy your visit. We have several cutting stations throughout the store to keep you on your way, and plenty of room to lay out a project if you are wanting to take a little bit more time and pick things out. We've got plenty of space for you to do that as well. Lots of fun little notions and gifty kind of things. And this is our friend Lucy. Lucy is modeling one of our store t-shirts. Our slogan is "I sew so I don't unravel," which has been a particularly appropriate saying over the craziness of the past year and a half, that I think sewing really has been that for people. It's been our sanctuary, it's been our getaway, it's been what's kept us sane, is using and expressing ourselves through fabric. So we really take that saying to heart, and I think a lot of us agree that sewing does definitely help us not unravel. Over here we've got a lot of pre-cuts. We carry a lot of layer cakes, charm packs, jelly rolls, which make for nice, quick and easy projects. So those are also, once again, easy to grab. We love 4-H sewers and kids that sew. So the pre-cuts are a really great way if you're a new sewer. They're a great way because you don't have to do nearly as much cutting, and you get a nice selection of fabrics that all to go together. Or if you've got kids in your life, kids, grandkids, any neighbors coming over to sew, that a lot of times the pre-cuts are something that we get those kids started with on a nice easy project so that they have tons of success. We always have a big patriotic area. The quilt that you see here, this is from Primitive Gatherings, American Gatherings book. So while a lot of our things on display are fairly simple, instant gratification kind of projects, we also have a lot of things that are a little bit more complex too, and a little bit more of a challenge to kind of suit quilters of all needs and skill levels. And like every quilt store, we've got a huge selection of books and patterns. Our pattern wall kind of goes from one end clear over to the other, with probably 1,000 pattern titles to choose from. And your basic notions. And over here, we do love color. We've got, I don't know how many colors of grunge we have, but we love grunge as a basic color to fit in with a lot of different color palettes. And we've got fun kids section that we try to keep stocked with different lines for boys, girls, gender neutral kind of stuff, a little bit of every kind of style. So the flannels make a nice cozy project. We are out here in the middle of the Nebraska plains, so it does get cold here. So we appreciate a good flannel project to keep nice and toasty warm. Over here, our flannel section carries on. We have a lot of dark, primitive country colors that are great for guy projects or snuggling at your lake cottage. But we also have a wide selection of kids flannels as well. And then this whole area is minky fabrics. We love to make the little receiving blankets, and the little taggy kind of blankets are great to use in the minky, but we also use it on the back of a lot of our quilts. They just are the most snuggly quilt. They're the one that I always grab off the back of the couch first to snuggle up when it's not 100 degrees outside, which it is today practically. And one area that we are particularly known for is our wool collection. We love 100% wool and the wool blend felt. So what you see here are our 100% wools, and we carry them in a variety of sizes, and we also have those by the yard. So these are a woven wool. This is probably one of the questions that we get asked the most often, is what's the difference between wool and wool felt. So I'll give you a quick little lesson on that. The wools that we carry are 100% wool, and they're a woven fabric. So that means they have a warp and a weft to them. And I always say, think about what a wool skirt would have looked like if you were from the age that wore a lot of wool skirts. It's a woven fabric, and the ones that we carry have not been felted. So to felt them, you can put them in hot water in your washing machine, toss them in the dryer, and what that does is it tightens up the fibers a little bit and gives it a little bit more body. And so we use those then a lot in applique projects. For like these little penny mats here, those are made with the 100% wool. So everything in this department is made from the 100% wool, and we carry a lot of the beautiful Valdani threads. They're a variegated pearl cotton, and they're great for not only the wool applique, but a lot of people love to use it for needle punch, embroidery, any kind of applications like that. So this whole area is 100% wool. So we have bolts and bolts and bolts of the 100% wool. Here was made out of wool blend felt. I'll show you. Wool blend felt is a non-woven fabric, so it means the fibers are just bonded together. The brand that we carry is called National Non-Wovens, and it's a blend of around 80% rayon and then 20% wool. And we also carry a style that is 65% rayon and 35% wool. So once again, the fibers are bonded together, and you can use them in the same type of applications as wool, but it's not a woven fabric. But the price point is significantly less than 100% wool. So some people like that as more of a value project, depending on the project they're doing, but you can still get a beautiful look at that. Most of the colors of the wool blend felt are either a solid color or a little bit of a heathered texture, whereas with your 100% wools, because they're woven, you can get a lot of different plaids and stripes. So that kind of makes up a little bit of the difference between the wool and the felt as well. But we carry tons of colors of both styles. The wool blend felt, as you can see over here on our wall, I think we have 130 colors of that. People are using it a lot as well in making wool felt flowers, little flower bouquets. We sell it a lot for people to make little stuffies, like the little stuffed plush kind of animals. So there's a lot of different applications that you can use it. If you search for wool blend felt on Instagram, tons of ideas will come up of what you can do with the wool blend felt. So those are two things that we're most known for, the wool and the wool blend felt. And so hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight as to the difference between the two of them and how you can use them. So we're so glad that you stopped by today to take a little tour of our shop. And once again, I was Julie Geiger, and we have Prairie Point Junction Quilt Shop in Cozad, Nebraska.